The Cavaliers were down 0-2 to the Detroit Pistons and did not play very well in Detroit, just like they did not play very well in Toronto. And then over the next two games, especially last night in the second half, Donovan Mitchell, for the first time this postseason, just said, "No, Detroit, you are not winning tonight." Scores 4 points in the first half, goes for almost a playoff record in the second half. The Cavs are now even this thing up at 2 games apiece. But the question becomes, can they win a single playoff game on the road?
Yeah, that's what's been odd about the Cavs playoff run so far is that we are what 6-0 at home
6
now.
0 at home, 0-5 on the road.
It really makes no sense. Um, it's very rare that you see something like this. I don't know what changes between home and road, but for the most part, they've taken Jalen Duren out of this series. He really hasn't been a factor.
By the
They,
way, on that note, I'm going to share with you this stat. This includes the Magic series. Jalen Duren in the regular season averaged 19 points a game. In the postseason, he's averaging 10 points. That's a 9-point difference. That is the biggest drop off from an all-star in the same season from the regular season to the postseason since the common draft era, which dates all the way back to the 70s.
I think I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I heard that he only had one rebound in the game last night.
It sounds like Evan Mobley in game two.
um, they frustrated Cade Cunningham these last two games, but
he had 2 rebounds last night.
Okay. Like I said, I could be wrong on that, but either way, it might have been that he had one offensive rebound or something. Yep. But either way, they did frustrate Cade Cunningham, so I'll give them credit. But again, do I really trust the Cavs? Not really, because like we've said, they're such a Jekyll and Hyde team. They play really well at home, but they can't carry that momentum on the road.
And the other thing they did last night and in game 3 that was different than game 1 and game 2 is they started off fast. They forced Detroit to go the first time out. But in both games, really, I mean, game 3, you're up 17 at halftime. Game 4, you've gone the 22-0 run in the third quarter. And yet you start the fourth quarter and you look up and it's still a ball game because the Cavs did not close that deal.
Yeah, but this is the NBA, and we've seen 20-point leads vanish in a flash. So was I really that surprised when Detroit made their comeback from down 16 to make it a ball game? No.
Well, counterpoint to that, the Pistons are not really a great three-point shooting team. And the Cavs' best quarter all postseason, including the Toronto series, has been the third quarter. Their worst quarter, without a doubt, has been the first quarter. They're always behind by 10, it feels like, at the end of every first quarter, and then they have to make it up in the second half.
Yeah, and we allowed Karis LeVert to go for like 17 last night.
Well, I would say he replaced Duncan Robinson's production. Is that fair? Because Duncan Robinson didn't do a ton last night.
No, he really didn't. But Detroit's not going to change their starting lineup. Duncan Robinson is still going to be in
Duncan
there.
Robinson, Tobias Harris are providing critical scoring bunches. But last night it came down to Cade Cunningham did not have his best game, and Donovan Mitchell, with the Cavs down by 4 at halftime, went into the third quarter and just said no, no, no. And he became the number one player that really he should be all along last night.
It's also that Cade doesn't have that true second playmaker. He has to set up Tobias Harris. He has to set up Jalen Duren. Okay, Tobias Harris to a certain extent can get his own shot, but it's still more so on Cade to set him up.
And I thought in the second half to unlock Donovan Mitchell, what Kenny Atkinson did and made an adjustment, which was smart, was they used Harden to be that primary point guard and set Mitchell up off the ball.
Yeah. And I'll give Dean Wade his credit. He's frustrating Cade, which
Well, he's doing his job on defense. I do not want him touching the ball on offense. And
yeah.
I got to give another guy credit because I think this guy, with his momentum, I think he won Game 3. Not even James Harden, not even Donovan Mitchell. I'm going to give my flowers right now to Max Strus.
See, I'm not a big Max Strus fan. I'm really not.
I think Max Strus won the Cavs Game 3 with that steal off the inbound Wade. He ended up weighing it in. And every time you look up at home, he struggles on the road. But at home, every time you look up and Detroit's got some momentum and you need a play, who makes it? Max Strus.
Yeah, I'll give him his credit. But like I said, I'm not a big Max Strus fan. I feel like at times defensively, he's like a traffic cone. And
well, if you think he's a traffic cone, then what's James Harden?
Invisible.
I mean, well, this was my fear when we made the trade. And I've been going back and forth via text with our man Jalen Sandvik all week because Jalen just thinks I'm blasphemous about this. Because I don't think the Cavs have played very well at all in a full game yet these playoffs. I don't think we've seen a full game where the Cavs have definitively been the best team to start to finish. Maybe Game 1 against Toronto.
I would say slightly Game 2 against Toronto would.
Yeah, because they were on most of the time. But I'm talking like, because even Game 7, they had the third quarter moment. Last night they had the third quarter moment, but they didn't play well the whole game.
Right. I felt like our most complete game this postseason thus far. I see what you're saying about Game 1. But I felt like Game 2 against Toronto was our most complete game.
Well, what's the scary part? What happened in Game 3? They got blown off the court. And if this series truly is going to be like the 07 series where the Cavs fell down 0-2 and then came back and won in 6, what is going to be our Game 5 LeBron scoring 25 straight points moment? As I'm watching the game last night, I was thinking, is that moment by Donovan Mitchell, was that just the Game 4 equivalent to what LeBron did in Game 5 in 07? Because that's what it felt like to me.
Well, if this series is going to shape up like 07, then who's going to come out and be Daniel Gibson?
Strus has that potential. Sam Merrill, who is a hot and cold shooter, obviously has that potential, but it's going to come down to rebounding. It's going to come down to can those bigs of Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley control the paint.
Yep.
So, all right, well, from one team in the East to the other, because the New York Knicks, after the Philadelphia 76ers came back down 3-1 to the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks came out and outside of Game 2, completely mollywopped the Sixers.
Yeah. Game 4 was probably over by the end of the first quarter. I think they went 11 of 12 on 3-pointers in that first quarter.
I would say Game 4 was over about 6 minutes in.
What's honestly nuts, and it's not just with this series, it's also from the last time New York and Philadelphia played each other. Xfinity Mobile Arena sounds like Madison Square Garden. Like, I'm watching the game and I'm like, is this a 76ers home game or is it a Knicks home game?
So last year in the Eastern Conference, Josh, we saw the coming of age of Tyrese Haliburton. And certainly this year, the Pistons move on and maybe if they beat the Knicks, we could see the coming of age of Cade Cunningham. But I really felt like this postseason has solidified Jalen Brunson's status as a superstar in this league.
Oh, for sure. And I honestly thought losing OG Anunoby would hurt the Knicks. Nope, the machine just keeps running. But I told you the Knicks' most important player. I'll give Jalen Brunson his credit for sure. But when they made that change and late in the Atlanta series and started funneling the offense more so through Cat, that's when the switch flipped for them. I told you, Cat was their most important player, not Jalen Brunson.
Well, I would argue Jalen Brunson is their most important player because if they don't have Jalen Brunson, they're not even in this position.
Okay, fair, but oh, how do I say this then? Because you are right. Jalen Brunson has made the difference for them in terms of where they are, but in terms of them playing so well, Cat has been that.
That's
So
fair, but who's the one that also told you going into the playoffs? Who is the team that's going to come out of the Eastern Conference? The New York Knickerbockers, because they were playing with their food in the regular season, because just like the Minnesota Timberwolves, who reportedly told Chris Finch, we don't give a damn about the regular season. That's how I felt like the Knicks felt. And they were just going to come out and they were going to play their best basketball in the postseason. And between Brunson, Cat, Mitchell Robinson, McBride, and Anobi, Bridges, they have so many bodies that can throw at you. They are arguably the deepest team in the East.
yeah, and Mikal Bridges has caught a lot of flack throughout the season.
He did not play well in the Atlanta series, but he did play better, especially defensively in the Philly series.
Yes. And the last two banners that are hanging in the Xfinity Mobile Arena, those came courtesy of Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, and Mikal Bridges, Villanova.
Well, the question on everybody's mind, though, is so the Sixers, they defeated the Celtics in 7 games and made that comeback. So what does this now say, Josh, about the direction the Celtics should go into?
See, this is the more interesting part of this sweep to me, is not that the Knicks destroyed the 76ers. It's what does this say about the Celtics? And God, I don't even know where to start with this. Like, because Jason Tatum wasn't healthy for most of that series. But
what do you mean he was healthy for most of it? He only missed game 7.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad. I don't know why I just said that. That was complete mistake there. But anyway, for the Celtics to blow that 3-1 lead and ruin the series that basically we all wanted to see, Celtics Knicks Part 2, and then see the 76ers get absolutely manhandled in the manner they did, I don't even know what to say about the Celtics, honestly.
Josh, I think I know you're going to be mad by my answer, but if I'm Brad Stevens, I am thinking long and hard about breaking up the duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and the guy I'm not trading out of those two is Jaylen Brown.
Interesting. Let me ask you a question on that. Because the Milwaukee Bucks have said they are going to start seeking trades for Giannis. If you're the Boston Celtics, do you call the Milwaukee Bucks and ask about Giannis?
You absolutely do. Now, let me ask you this. If you're the Bucks, who would you rather want? Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown?
Oh, boy.
Because if I'm the Bucks, I know my answer.
And if you're the Celtics, would you rather pair Giannis with Jaylen Brown, or would you rather pair him with Jason Tatum?
Well, I'd rather pair him with Jaylen Brown, but I know Milwaukee's going to want Jaylen Brown, so if I have to give up him to get Giannis, I will.
And you would pair Giannis with Jason Tatum then?
No, I would rather pair Giannis with Jaylen Brown, but Milwaukee's going to want Jaylen Brown, so I'd have to give him up. Milwaukee is going to want one of two things. They're going to want the number 1 pick in the draft, which Washington is obviously not giving up, or they're going to want a top 5 pick or a top 10-ish player in the league that they can restart their franchise with. So either they're going to go with, like in Atlanta at pick 8, maybe, I don't know if Giannis would love about Chicago, that they don't really have a lot of other building assets. Maybe the Clippers, now that they have pick 5 from the Pacers, maybe you inquire about that. But you're going to either want one of those top 5 picks, or you're going to want a Jaylen Brown, or an Alfred Sengun, or a Stephon Castle, one of these established, young, great players.
Yeah, but what this series also says to me about the Celtics is maybe they missed their another opportunity because I don't think the Eastern Conference was that difficult other than maybe New York.
So this is the weird thing, right? Going into the year, we all said it was a gap year for the Celtics. Who cares? Jason Tatum's out, rest and recover. But you get to the end of the season and you look around, and hell, maybe number 23 comes back to Cleveland one other time. Who knows? Maybe Giannis Antetokounmpo ends up in Cleveland. Who knows? The Knicks are still going to be around. Indiana's going to be better. Detroit at one more year under their belt, I think is going to be better. I would say don't count out Orlando, depending on what they get, potential shooting, new coach. I think the East is going to be significantly better next year. So to your point, yes, I agree that, Boston, you didn't have Tatum, but I've said it before. They didn't even need Tatum, I thought, to win the East.
Yeah. And obviously they had to trade some of their key players from the championship team, like Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and others. But I still felt like they had enough. But,
And I think Jaylen Brown going on Twitch and making all this noise, listen, I think Jaylen Brown's been a good soldier. He was there. Remember, he was drafted the 3rd overall pick in 2017. Jason Tatum came in 2018. So he was there the year before Tatum. I think Jaylen Brown has always viewed himself as equal, if not better than Jason Tatum, but he's been a good teammate. He's been a good locker room player. And I agree with him that this was probably the most fun he's ever had this year in his career. And I know what you're going to say, Josh, is, he won the title 2 years ago. Yeah, but he wasn't the man. That was still viewed as Jason Tatum's team.
Even though he won Finals MVP,
yes,
I think he won Conference Finals MVP.
Correct. But what was the debate that we were having on this show? You kept telling me that you believe Jason Tatum was the better player.
Yes. No, I was trying to argue, let's not have that debate and just have them as equals.
But you can't. You can't have an equal on a basketball team. Name me one NBA team where the guy has been seen as equal. 2 stars have been seen as equal. Because even LeBron and Dwayne Wade in his prime, that was viewed as LeBron's team. Even though he came to Wade, Wade gave that team up to LeBron.
Yeah.
It's always somebody else's team.
What about
even
the Kobe?
The baby teams, even like the Toronto Raptors, right? I thought that was viewed more as DeMar DeRozan's team than Kyle Lowry's team, personally. Even the Shaq Kobe Lakers, that's I think you were about to say, that's really the closest we've gotten, but Shaq was still viewed at that time as the better player.
Probably. And the Spurs were clearly Tim Duncan's team.
Yes. So Boston was sort of a weird anomaly situation. And I think Jaylen Brown is saying, guys, I'm ready to carry this team.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a Jaylen Brown.
Go ahead.
I didn't love that Jaylen Brown went on Twitch and said that. I understood it, but I didn't love it. It just didn't quite sit well with me.
Well, I think it's, hey, I've been here for 10 years. I won my championship. It's very similar to A.J. Brown, right? I won my championship. Now I want my money. I want to be the guy.
We'll see what the Celtics do. This offseason is going to be very telling for them.
Speaking of the offseason, Josh, this offseason, just like it was almost 8 years ago, could be another offseason where it's the offseason of the king. Whether you think about him as the GOAT or not, number 23, LeBron may have played his last game as a Laker. Hell, he might have played his last career game in the NBA last night, and we don't even know it.
He's made no indications that he's going to be retiring, but who knows?
Well, first of all, I don't think LeBron wants to go on a retirement tour because unlike Kobe, LeBron's body has not broken down on him. I think LeBron is going to wake up one day and say, that's it, I'm done. I don't think he's going to go, this is my last year. Because like Brady at the end, when you're so good at something, you don't know when to stop because you're so good at it. Your body will tell you.
Yeah. And the Thunder, they've done this to players before. I think Duncan's last game was against the Thunder.
Well, by the way, I'll tell you this. This series was so lopsided. I am dead serious when I say this. I don't even think Shea Gilgeous-Alexander had to play a single minute in this series, and I think the Thunder could have swept him.
Well then. But yeah.
That's how far behind I think the Lakers roster is to OKC. So LeBron, if you want to come back and enjoy family life, sure, go back to the Lakers.
I don't think this is going to be the summer of LeBron. Like how you just said it. I don't think he's the top prize, especially with all the Giannis stuff. That's the bigger story.
I think he'd be a top prize for two teams. Number one is obviously our Cavs. I mean, without a doubt. I don't care that Donovan Mitchell was here. I'm sorry, this would be LeBron's team again. Because LeBron would be viewed as the guy to get us over the top. Because nobody believes in their right mind, even if we make it out of the East, that we're winning the NBA championship this year.
No. If we do make it out of the East, if we face OKC, okay, maybe I'd give us a game.
We'd get swept unless OKC be courtesy enough to let us have one on our home floor so they can win it at home.
San Antonio.
We would get swept.
Yeah. Minnesota.
We would get swept.
I think Minnesota, it would be more like a 5-game series.
Okay. I mean, I'm not here to debate. Anyway. The other team, I think, would be the Knicks. Because even though that team is Jalen Brunson's team, and it'd be a nice story, LeBron coming to New York, where he's always wanted to play. Mike Brown, his first major coach with the Cavs. It was the second overall coach because Bo Silas was here the first couple of years. Excuse me. I know Jalen Brunson's there, but again, that's another situation where LeBron would be viewed as the guy to put them over the top.
Yeah. And I think it's the Lakers are Luka's team now if he can stay healthy. But
that's the question because I thought it was Luka's team. Luka's not healthy anymore, Josh.
No, I think I saw he's not even going to be playing for the Slovenian or Serbian.
Correct. And they obviously have decisions to make with Austin Reeves and all that. Listen, if LeBron wants to come back, he knows he's not winning a championship.
Yeah. And by the way, even with his 2 tenures in Cleveland, he spent the most amount of time in LA. He's on year 8 or 9 with them.
This would be, I believe, year 8. It would be the most time under one team because he did 11 total years in Cleveland if you combine the two.
Yes. But I'm talking about in one state.
Correct. Yes. Which does feel weird that LeBron's been in that way for so long because it does not feel like it's been that long.
No, it really doesn't. And like people still talk about whether that 2020 championship is legitimate or not.
But at the end of the day, he still did it. And that's the biggest accomplishment of the Lakers' feathered cap.
Oh,
and
yeah.
To me,
and I think, on that note, like, that's why Anthony Davis is in Washington now.
And what screwed LeBron over with the Lakers is twofold. Number one, AD never became the guy that LeBron thought he could be. When they won that championship, the next year, Anthony Davis was supposed to be the best player on the team. And Anthony Davis was never healthy and never reliable. And we've seen what his career has become. And now
I think Anthony Davis has even discredited that championship he won with the Lakers.
And Luka came over and like, oh my God, LeBron and Luka are going to play together. This is going to be great. And Luka's never available.
No, I don't think he's played a single game in this series against OKC.
He did not. He did not play a single playoff game.
Damn.
By the way, his last game he played this year was the game that they watched the Thunder and they were losing by 40 by the end of the first quarter.
Yep.
So, I mean, you tell me, like, I know LeBron's tenure in LA is going to be looked at as the least successful when he only won one championship and, he was swept a couple times and all that. The Lakers, in my opinion, massively as a front office, failed LeBron.
You know what's crazy is you look at what the Cavs front office has done since Donovan Mitchell has been here. It feels like they've done more for him than what we did for LeBron while he was in Cleveland.
And you know what the missing piece is on our team? A big, giant, 6'9" wing who's a leader.
Yes. We have not had a true small forward in years.
And we still don't. And I like Jalen Tyson, but he's not that guy.
No. And I thought DeAndre Hunter was going to be that missing piece, and he didn't prove to be that. But no, talking about the Lakers, I think you're right. They really didn't help LeBron with anything. They went out and got DeAndre Ayton because that's the type of big man that Luka likes to play with. But guess what? Luka's never healthy.
I'll throw one more team out there that I think is a possibility for LeBron. And this team wouldn't be in line to win a championship, but it would be more of a fun all-star team up. Golden State.
Steph, LeBron. I would want to see how that dynamic would work between Steph or Draymond Green and LeBron.
I think they would get along great together on the court. I'll be honest with you, because Draymond could be the enforcer.
That would be, I think that would be entertaining. But if LeBron goes to New York, like you're suggesting, if he doesn't go on a retirement tour, the NBA would benefit greatly from that and make a ton of money off of that. Think about it. He's in a Knicks jersey playing in the world's most famous arena. It's his retirement tour. Yeah.
All right, so we got to get to T-Wolf Spurs here. Game 5 is tonight. And Game 4, Josh, I'm rooting for the Spurs for one reason. Because I want to see them knock off the Thunder, and I don't think Minnesota can. And Game 4 ripped my heart out because I firmly believe the Spurs were going to win that game.
Yeah. Of course, the big talking point coming out of that game was Wemby delivering that elbow.
Which the NBA is extremely soft, by the way. Listen, was it a flagrant 1? Probably.
Yes. Was it a flagrant 2? Absolutely not.
Thank you.
No way. Naz Reid embellished that. Like, what do you want him to do?
Well, I take it as they're fighting for the ball, and Wemby just goes like this, get off me. And delivers the elbow. I didn't see any malice or intention behind that.
I mean, yes, it was above the neck, but...
Oh, boo-hoo. In the 90s, that was an offensive foul, and let's go. There was no review. Like, come on, man.
I hated it. I am so glad that the NBA didn't suspend him. There was no fine. That was a
Wemby, you need to come out tonight and put up a 40 burger or hell, even a 50 burger. Make a statement tonight.
What I do want, I'm not saying the Timberwolves need to retaliate and like punch Wemby in the face or anything like that. But I want them to bring a level of aggressiveness, physicality, be angry that Wemby didn't face any type of punishment or discipline for that hit. Whether it should have been a flagrant 2 or not, doesn't matter. I want the Timberwolves to come out tonight and be angry. Like, chip at Wemby a little bit. Again, not like cause a scene and have benches clear. That's not what I'm saying. But try to get under his skin a little bit.
So I think really since game 1 ended, outside of the fourth quarter of Game 4, San Antonio's outplayed Minnesota every quarter of the series.
Yeah.
Like, the Spurs, to me, are the better team. Like,
Yeah.
Minnesota's wins have been close. San Antonio's wins have been relatively blocked, especially in Game 2, obviously.
Yeah. And San Antonio really should have won Game 1, to be honest with you. But,
But now they're not. And you know what? Anything can happen. And I believe this to be true about Cavs Pistons, and I believe this to be true about this game. Whoever wins Game 5 in both of these series that are tied 2-2 will win both series. Well, and by the way, both of those series may go 7, while the Knicks and the Thunder are sitting at home for 8-9 days resting.
Yeah. I know we're talking about T-Wolves Spurs, but I want to get into this. You have to think about this. Like, both the Knicks and the Thunder swept their respective series, and now they get to just sit back, put their feet up, and watch the Cavs and Pistons duke it out. If you're the Knicks, and if you're the Thunder, you get to watch the Spurs and Timberwolves duke it out. Like, if you're
I think if you're the Knicks, you're probably rooting for Detroit just because they have less offensive firepower. And if you're OKC, you're 100% rooting for Minnesota.
Yeah, but again, if you're the Knicks, I think you'd rather play the Cavs because the Pistons proved to be a really bad matchup for the Knicks.
Since when?
Did you not watch the regular season series?
Does the regular season even matter?
Detroit owned New York.
Does it matter?
I think New York wants Cleveland because we don't present the defensive physicality that Detroit does.
No, but do the Knicks have two guys on the perimeter that can stop both Mitchell and Harden potentially?
Do we have anybody that can stop Jalen Brunson?
Yeah, we do.
Do you really trust Dean Wade to do that?
He's doing it on Cade Cunningham. I think Cade and Jalen Brunson are very similar players. Listen, I think Cade Cunningham is the third best American player. I think he's better than Jason Tatum. I absolutely do. I think it goes Cunningham and Brunson in terms of American players right now.
Honestly, after this postseason, you might have a point on that one. You really might. Although I think Jaylen Brown has a very valid argument as well.